Hello and welcome to this AC MemberSmart enablement session. Today I'm going to cover pre-installation steps as well as post-installation steps, and we will go through the MemberSmart settings tab. To install the AC MemberSmart application, you must first install the AC job board component, as there is a dependency on it. You can find the installation link for the job board in our user guide or on the App Exchange. Once that step is complete, you can proceed with the installation of AC MemberSmart itself, as well as other bundled components: AC Partner Marketplace, AC Events Enterprise, AC Fundraising, AC Member Directory, AC Commerce, and AC Unified Checkout. The AC MemberSmart package comes with custom objects and fields, and for the component to function correctly, you need to provide appropriate access to these objects and their fields. We recommend using the permission sets provided in a package. Those are MemberSmart Admin permission set for internal users. All permissions for membership management purposes are added here. Then there is MemberSmart User Base permission set for community users. It allows browsing, registering as members, and membership management. Then there is MemberSmart User Full permission set for more advanced community users. It allows all the access from the user base permission set and additionally accessing and editing subscriptions and subscription terms. And the last one is MemberSmart Guest permission set for guest users. It allows browsing and registering as members. Once you assign permission sets, please don't forget to provide access to standard objects manually. We advise assigning 2 permission sets, one from the package and another extended permission set with access to standard objects and fields. Because once the application is updated on the org, permission sets in the package are automatically updated as well, so you won't need to do any manual access adjustments. After that, please add additional admin permissions, and it's also essential to configure sharing sets and guest user access. All those steps are described in detail in our user guide in the configurations section. Also, there are email templates that come with the package, and it's important to update those emails according to the organization's needs. The templates can be accessed and updated from the Setup, Classic email templates, and AC MemberSmart email templates folder. As you can see, there are multiple email templates. First of all, welcome email. The user receives an email confirmation after registering as members. Then there is membership renewal email, and those emails are sent to members as reminders that the membership expires soon. Then there is membership request confirmation email, and the users receive those emails after sending the membership request with no immediate user registration. Payment failure notification. This one is an automatic email that is sent to a member when their payment for membership fails. New CPD activity log email. This one is sent after members submit the CPD log on site. Invoices. Members receive invoices by email when choosing the invoice manual payment while subscribing to a membership. And also members receive receipts as payment confirmations so that they know the payment is collected and the subscription has started. Please note that if the email template is not activated, the email will not be sent. And once activated, it will be sent as intended. And when using AC Unified Checkout integration, please deactivate the invoices and receipts that come with our package to avoid double email notifications. Now let's move to the Settings tab. This tab includes the following sections: General Settings, Stripe and Plate Settings, Engagement Score, Scheduled Jobs, Membership Management, Checkout Settings. When AC Unified Checkout application is installed on the org and the integration is enabled, you won't see the Stripe and Plate Settings tabs. Now let's go through all of those settings, starting with the General Settings section. And the first setting we see here is Recurring Payment setting. There is a scheduled job for checking if the next installment is paid. And if this setting is enabled, the installment status will change to cancelled if one of the previous installment status changed to closed rejected. This setting is enabled by default, and when trying to disable it, you will see a warning. We don't advise disabling this setting. Then there is installment and opportunity sync setting. When it's turned on, opportunities will be created along with installments. And if you enable the setting, please don't forget to configure the opportunity stages. This one is disabled by default. Then we see the user registration section, and the toggle here allows us to enable creating internal users when members self-register with the registration flow on site. If the setting is disabled, you will need to enable the contacts as community users manually with standard Salesforce functionality. And this toggle is disabled by default. If it was enabled, the next one would be active. And here we can select the name of the profile that we want to assign during that registration. The next toggle here allows us to prevent errors during user registration by automatically adding some unique symbols to usernames. And we can specify the preferred symbols here in the next field. Then we see the notifications section. Here we define the email address from which all the notifications will be sent. Default value, of course, is empty, and after clicking, we see verified and unverified email addresses. Then we see guest users settings. The first toggle allows displaying the file uploader to guest users during member registration on site. The next two ones are created for enhanced security, so that during member registration under guest user from the Experience Cloud site, records can be created in the internal environment only if the fields in the incoming records correspond to the fields in the field sets on the account and contact objects. And of course, those field sets can be updated according to the organization's needs. Then we see flow settings. And here we can define API name for product entries generator flow if we decide to use a custom flow instead of the one provided in the package. And the last one is grace and payment period flexibility settings. If this one is enabled, all the validations where the grace and payment period cannot be greater than the payment frequency are disabled. So all the frequencies will be visible on the membership plan component on our flows. Now let's move to the next steps. We use Stripe and Plate for managing native payments. So it's important to add Stripe API keys here under the Stripe settings tab. And it's important to add client ID, Plate API key, Plate mode, sandbox, development or production here on the Plate settings tab. Please note that if the data is not filled in here, the ACH direct debit or bucks tab will not be displayed on the community payment form on the registration flow. The next engagement score settings tab allows us to set up a point system to reward users for being active. The engagement score will be displayed on the member card component, and it will be calculated together with the Salesforce's native reputation points. So we can award the users with reputation points for new event attendance or new event registration. We can award points on new shop orders or even for each purchased product in a shop, for completing CPD objective, for submitting job applications, on membership subscription purchase and renewal, and we could award the user for transactions as well. The reputation points are dynamically hidden if the related packages are not installed. This means that if any of the packages associated with the setting is not installed, the corresponding field will not be displayed. The next tab, Schedule Job Settings, includes the list of scheduled jobs that come with the package. All those jobs are enabled by default, and in our technical documentation you can find more details on when, at what exact time those jobs execute. Let's go through the list of scheduled jobs quickly. There is the job that checks for expired payment deadlines on failed installments and automatically transition them to closed rejected stage. Then we have a job that automatically renews the membership subscriptions that are set as auto-renewals. Then there is a job that helps us sending out renewal email notifications every day, 7 days before the membership expires. There is the job that automatically deletes the error logs from the past 180 days. There is the reputation point job that awards users with reputation points based on configurations in the settings. Then we have a job that for invoice payments automates installment status changes and initiates invoice emails upon reaching the payment due date. The next scheduled job changes statuses for ACH and BACS transactions. Then there is the recurring payment charging job for membership subscriptions. Then there is another scheduled job that enables daily membership period check and update. Now let's move to the membership management settings. Here we can recalculate and update the membership duration and membership activation date fields on member contact records based on their active membership period. This action can be performed only once, and after clicking the button, a progress bar will display the number of processed and total records. And once the updates are complete, the button will become inactive. And the last tab here in our settings is the Checkout Settings tab. AC MemberSmart is integrated with the AC Unified Checkout application. This allows a membership subscription to be added to the cart during the registration process. To be able to use this capability, we need to enable the integration by activating the toggle here. After the toggle is activated, we need to fill in a few fields. The first one is package name. It is pre-filled by default, but it can be edited if needed. Then there is package identificator field. It is blank by default, but by clicking the generate button, we generate that field value. And then there is connector class field, which cannot be edited. When we have the package ID, we copy it. And then we go to the Unified Checkout Application Settings, to the Product Provider Settings tab. And here we need to add the new product provider to enable that integration fully. So we need to add the name, connector class, and the generated package identificator here. And then we save the record. And that's it.